Hello, and wishing good luck, warm vibes to anybody that is taking exams today. Deep breath, you know, you'll pull through and you'll sleep well tonight. Noelle will be joining us here shortly. Oh, there she is. Let me just get her going. Trying a new camera thing with a little shaky arm, so I apologize for that. And for a lot of people that are taking the D3 exam, so tomorrow is D-Day.
Oh, D-Day. Did you have any sympathy dreams last night?
No, no, actually, I actually did pretty good last night. Last night's streams were more about trying to figure out what was a weird flag that my neighbor had hanging over the side of the building, which they actually don't have any, but for some reason I was obsessed with figuring out this flag.
Okay, interesting.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
I actually had a dream about the exam, and I woke up and I was like, "Oh my God, you don't have to take it." And there was a big sense of relief. I'm sorry, everybody.
I
You will
actually, I
feel
don't,
like that
actually,
next year.
I did have some thought about soils too when I woke up early in the morning. That was my brain was thinking, it's trying to do like a soils made simple thing, which unfortunately I don't think I'm gonna get time to finish that today. But
No, next time.
yeah.
Next time. But yeah, we're sending everybody really good thoughts and best of luck. And we just wanted to talk maybe briefly a little bit about maybe exam day tips. Obviously, it's not a one size fits all thing. You know yourself better than anyone. Um, One thing, and we talked a little bit about positive visualization yesterday, and I know it can get a little woo woo and not everybody buys into it, but I am guessing that everybody who is ready to take an exam has envisioned flipping that paper over and seeing your nightmare question, whatever it might be. German wine law, pros and cons of China. And you're envisioning that and you're like, "Oh my God, what would I do if this comes up?" So I suggest instead of that, take a breath and envision your dream question. This is what I did. I was, okay, what would I love? Doesn't matter if it's realistic, because my dream question was about Washington State. Like, what if I got a question, explain why Washington State has such a diversity of wine styles? I would have loved that.
Oh
So I
yeah.
just envisioned, what would how awesome would that feel to just get something that you're like, "I fucking got this." Sorry, I just
Yeah.
dropped the F bomb, but
That's fine. We're
but
not SNL.
okay, good. But yeah, you would feel so confident about that, about getting a question that you knew and you were just like, "Yes, I'm going to run with this." So I, instead of continuing to go down that path of doom, which I know because Amber and I have trounced down that path a few times, just envision a question that you really would love to get and see how that makes your body feel and see how that makes your mind feel. Cause you'd be like, "Yeah, I can do this." So
Yeah.
that's my positive visualization tip of the day.
And that actually, thinking about that, I'm not that positive visualization person.
Mhm.
The day two for the tasting exam, I was like, man, I really hope I get something like a New Zealand Sauv Blanc. And then with that being the
Yeah.
first flight with Sauvignon Blanc with a grape in New Zealand that was like score. So
Yeah.
there is a little bit of that feeling like you're hoping for that visual and then it happens. So I totally see that.
Yeah. So give that a try. And then to revisit your analogy about an athlete yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Another, we have a friend that we've been studying with, Amber and I, and she's just like continuing to keep going and pushing. And like we mentioned yesterday, some of the exhaustion is setting in. And if you're an athlete and you're going into your race or whatever, and you're all tensed up and you're just like, you're not going to do very well. Like, athletes loosen up. Do you ever see the
Mm-hmm.
swimmers, in front? I'm not going to do the little dance that they do at the pool, but they, they stretch out their muscles and they're just kind of loose. And your brain, there are studies that it is so much easier to extract information from your brain when you're relaxed. Because like you said yesterday, it's a muscle. So if you're going in like that, it's going to be hard to get that information that is up there. I mean, don't doubt yourself. It is up there, but just kind of relax it like a big
Yeah.
muscle.
I mean, I wish I did more of that. I mean, what I did,
Yeah.
I'm a little bit more uptight of a person, as you can guess. I did kind of, so my wife, she played the sport of curling for many years. She actually went to several national championships, going for US. And,
Okay.
one of the things I took from her was a little bit of like the hype music to kind of jack you up. So like in the
Okay.
morning, I actually saw on my phone, I realized I still have the playlist there for just playing that while, in the shower and getting ready, the kind of the tunes that hype me up.
Okay.
Which I actually wrote down my tunes if anybody wants to know what my personal hype list was.
I'm curious. I wonder if
All
you have
right.
any overlap. Okay.
Here's just 8 of them. But
Okay.
Flo Rida, Our House,
I like that.
Hands Clap by Fitz and the Tantrum,
Okay.
Hard to Handle by the Black Crowes, Fighter by Christina Aguilera, Tub Thumpin' by Chumbawamba,
Oh my
which
God, I love
that just gets me going. The lyrics, obviously, this is
I
nothing about like
cannot
that
down.
positive visualization or anything like that. It's about getting like pissed drunk, but just something about Chumbawamba just makes me just like want to go take on the world,
That.
Celebrity Skin by Hole,
Okay.
Melissa Etheridge's Giant.
Okay.
With that, that's a really good one that pumps me up. And then from Pink, Raise Your Glass, which is another one just about drinking, so that was kind of got me a little bit hyped
I
up
like
for the
that.
exam. So,
That's awesome.
but
I
I
am
think I
totally
should have
like.
done more
Yeah,
calming.
well, but that kind of, I mean, you've got a lot of like positive vibes, strong women that
True.
inspire you,
True.
on your, I don't know if
Not
you
necessarily
put it,
positive songs, but yeah, strong women. Like Celebrity Skin, it's not necessarily, positive, but
no, but
you want a piece of me. That was the kind of thing that was, you want a piece of me? Okay, Tess, you want a piece of me?
yeah,
Here it is.
come on, German wine lab.
Yeah. Make that
Oh, I
my
love that.
bitch.
Love that. Oh my God. So I tried the night before, and I want to hear what you did the night before and be honest. I actually stopped studying. I just like put the books away, and before every exam, I think all 5, I just picked a movie to watch that had nothing to do about wine, but something that inspired me. And that Ruth Bader Ginsburg documentary came out, so I went and saw that in the movie theater. I watched Legally Blonde. I do
That's an
find her
awesome movie.
inspiring.
I mean,
I'm
come
sorry.
on.
I find her inspiring. Hidden Figures. I think I watched Forrest Gump. But it was just something that I was like, I just want to unplug and I want to watch something that kind of, inspires me. So that's what I did the night before. And then I just went to sleep. And I can't remember how good of a night's sleep that I got. But what did you do? Did you continue studying?
I did. I mean, I tried to scale it back down, try to do lighter studies. And so I remember the last thing I did for D3 was I just looked at the wine business sections and all the different areas. It's an area that's usually kind of boring, so you skip over, but I just wanted to kind of reread it. And I took a piece of paper and I wrote down organizations mentioned, like promotional boards. Because, it's such a simple thing. And like you think, several of them are obvious, wines of Chile, wines of Greece. But in the heat of the exam, you kind of forget. And
Sure.
often when you have a question that is asking about wine business, just name dropping that is kind of helpful. And for me, just writing it by hand helps me remember it. Like, South Africa, like I was really hoping for a South Africa question. I didn't get it. That would have been one of my positive visualizations. But like, they have like 5 or 6 sustainability initiatives. So just writing them out on it. And like I had a question on Chile. So just name dropping wines of Chile. Just that little added confidence boost of just like, oh yeah, I remember this. So
That's good. No,
but,
that's very good.
But yeah, I tried not to stress myself too out because I know I have big exam anxieties, have to have, comfort before I take an exam. It just,
your comfort animal.
Yeah. Since school, high school, college, every exam just stresses me out. It doesn't matter how much I study for it. And I usually end up doing well on the exam, but there's just all that doubt and it just gets me.
Does it take you a while to get into the exam? Like once you flip that paper over and get your momentum?
For the most part, then I'm pretty good. It's just,
okay.
it's just that initial, and then towards the end of the exam, with particularly the way that WSET does their exams, with them all having to be handwritten, I have horrible handwriting. And I became very conscious of how horrible my handwriting was towards the end when your hand's cramping. That's why Noelle and I have given the advice many times over, a couple weeks back before the exam, start practicing handwriting for a long time. You don't expect it, and you don't realize how much it does hurt. Literally.
It does. It
hurt
sounds
your hand.
silly, but it's true. Yeah.
I wish I did more of that.
You wrote for hours.
Okay. Yeah, because towards the end of the exam, your handwriting's getting worse, hands cramping. That brought back the anxiety. So it's like I had, really good peak periods in the beginning with my answers and writing, but then towards the end, just comes back.
Did you use pen or pencil?
I did pen. I am a pen person. I like multicolored pens, and this is definitely something I recommend for folks with exams. Bring 2, maybe 3 different color pens, because you'll write your answers, and then things will come back to you later. Like you're answering another question, and you want to go back and add it, and it can get really, really messy. And I feel, I don't know any examiners, so this is just my personal theory. If you have it written in a different color, they'll see that it's added, but yet they can, parse it out easier. And that was my goal, is trying to make things easier for the examiners. Advice that I got from Jim Gore and Erica Dent, Global Wine Academy, again, really great folks. Enjoy discovering wine, brilliant folks. When you made a really good point, or you made a connection, using, your signpost terms, like, growers do this because, underline that because, show to, really highlight it for the examiners of, yes, see, I know my stuff, with that link, connecting those dots.
That's good advice. That's really good. Yeah, make it as easy, because I don't know how many hundreds of these they are reviewing. But yeah, if you can make it, especially if you've got, less desirable handwriting like Amber and I do, if you can signpost and underline and show where you're going, make it clearer to them, that is awesome. We did get a question about, like, how did you guys decide what order to tackle questions in? And it depends on what exam you're taking, because for D3, they're all weighted equally. So there's not a big 50%er and then a 10%er. But on the other exams, there can be, and the weighting is usually right next to it, very clear what percentage it is. And there's no right or wrong answer. For me, who struggles with confidence when I start getting going on my exam, I picked the one I felt most confident about, because I wanted to get in that groove. And once I would get in that groove, I was fine. So even if I was most confident about a 10% question, I did that. Now, I still had my timer. I had my little watch on my desk. But to me, that was my MO, was just to get the one that I felt best. And honestly, on D3, the one I felt best about was German wine law. That first page. So I did that one first. And so that's how I approached it. How did you approach it differently, or what did you do?
A little similar. One thing that I do that's a little unique, and I don't necessarily recommend it for everybody, but it's just kind of one of the ways my brain works, I definitely tackled the one that I felt more confident with in the beginning. And I picked the low-hanging fruit. I wrote down the easy aspects of answering it, like, my question, my Grenache question, what's the nature of Grenache, and then 3 regions I had. And I kind of hit the big things that I knew about those regions, but I left space for me to come back. Because my worry is always when going down rabbit holes, like especially if I'm rolling, I know stuff, and I just start adding almost everything I know with that brain dump, and I lose track of time. So I did that for each of my questions. So with the format of like D3, you have in the beginning, you've got 4 questions. You can kick one out for the first, your first slot of questions and time. Then you have your lunch break. You come back, you get 3 questions, and you answer 2, and you kick one out. So I just went through in the morning, first slot, picked out the one I was going to kick out. And then I got all my eggs and, easy eggs in the basket for each of those 3 questions. Then I came back and I started expanding, started adding more to it. Wow. I wanted to make sure I got some marks, a good chunk of marks at the beginning, that even if I ran out of time and I couldn't finish that last question, I still got a good chunk of marks. So that was my personal approach, but it's so hard for a lot of people, because you're jumping tracks. You're literally jumping tracks with your thoughts, and I know a lot of people don't like doing that. So I don't recommend doing that unless you already know that you kind of think that way. But I've been doing that since school and stuff like that. So
great. And I also think, I mean, that would like petrify me to like switch gears too much, but
Yeah.
I think that probably actually gave you some more confidence because you're like, I am getting these marks out of the way. Like at
Hmm.
least I'm getting these chunks out of the way. If I run out of time to put in my nitty gritty, I've already got the basics there. So I can see where that strategy would definitely
And
work.
sometimes answering another question reminded me of things I forgot to add on a previous question. So I find that beneficial. And that's again why I'm also with the multicolored pen approach,
Yeah.
I just squeeze it in a little
Mm-hmm.
handwriting, up above, the line, or, down below, or draw your arrow and stuff to tie it to.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I like that. It's so fun because I'm like learning stuff about you that I didn't know, like how you handle things. Um, so our friend had one question. She kind of asked, "What did you guys do on your break, like in
Mm-hmm.
between?" Because you have your either your two flights or you've got, and this is for D3 only. For the other exams, you don't have a break. And she asked what we did, and I got the heck out of Dodge. I
Mm-hmm.
nearby and turned around and came back because I did not
Yep.
want to get into comparing with other students. And I think
Yeah.
that was me. Some people like to, and it's human nature to want to compare notes. Well, what did you guys think that flight was? And I did compare with somebody at the end of the day, and they had called the flight something totally different. And so then I'm thinking, well, crap, one of us has got to be wrong. And I automatically think it's
Mm-hmm.
me, and turns out it wasn't. And but I don't know how much good it does you to compare notes with other people. So
Yeah.
it's it's hard not to. But and again, I don't remember exactly what the rules are. You're not supposed to share anything on social media. You're
Yes.
not
Definitely
supposed.
don't do that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm talking about like with people in your class as you're walking out. Like, I don't think you're
Mm-hmm.
supposed to do. Do you know the exact rules?
I, you know,
48
I
hours.
err on the side of caution. In many ways, I feel like it's also a form of respect. Respect the folks that have yet to take the exam that could possibly hear something inside and that throws them off. And also to respect all the work that the examiners and the people that put on the test have put in to make sure it's fair for everybody. So
Yeah,
yeah, definitely just deep unplug from social media,
yeah,
limit who you talk to, wait till the next days. Wait. They release the wines. A couple days after. Just wait for them. Yes, it's tough to because human nature. You want to
sure.
talk, but just try. I forget. I always thought that was a really form of respect on that.
I like
And
that.
but I tell you that the lunch break, that you have between you got your theory split up, you got your tasting split up, you can really, really fall into mind games and just tripping your head out, especially trying to guess questions. There are some people out there that claim that they have a crystal ball and they're the sultan of all knowledge and they can tell you what's going to be an exam. No, they're looking at past questions and making a guess on that. And don't let that guide you because then you start setting yourself up. And again, you're tripping your own mind if those questions don't pop up, or you feel like you study so much for something and you got it, and then there's this other question, and just don't read too much into it. Just let it come to you
Yeah,
on that.
yeah. That's a very good point. Yeah, nobody knows except for the
Yeah,
examiner.
yeah,
And yeah, just because you had maybe a question on your first round on Italy doesn't mean you might get another, not get
yeah,
another one on your second round. You just never know. So, but yeah, just beware of compare. And for people like me who are on the Pacific Coast, we're taking our exams hours later than Europe. So
mm-hmm.
again, watch it with the social media
Yeah,
because we don't want to fall into a CMS issue where the answers come out too soon. So yeah.
yeah.
Any other advice or tips for
Well,
anyone?
I mean, there's people that are taking sparkling and fortified today, and a lot of them take them at the same time, so you do have this kind of same break between the two. And so that was the only time I actually did really taste wine in between. Was that, did the sparkling first and then did my fortified. I retasted some fortified. You'll see people on the D3 tasting wine in the parking lot. Again, a little skeptical about how much that helps because you're already kind of, your nerves are jacked up, and especially if you ate lunch, your palate's kind of already being messed up. So maybe a little bit to help recalibrate it to that degree,
Yeah.
but
I had the blandest turkey sandwich ever for lunch because I was just like, I am not having anything that remotely messes with my palate on that day. And I wasn't hungry. And it was I was like, oh, this is not going to sit well. But you do need to eat to keep your brain going and fuel. So try to think of something really neutral, but you don't want to go in there and start getting hangry. So.
I made that mistake because my stomach was all up in knots and everything, so I really couldn't eat. So I just drank ginger ale.
Okay.
But second half, my tummy's growling. And back in school, when your tummy starts growling and making the noises, then you can start getting self-conscious, and it's just like, So I should have forced myself to try to eat a little bit, like bring some pretzels and things like that. I didn't think well enough ahead.
Bring your bread, and then you can smell that if you're, going into your sparkling afterwards.
Actually back in sparkling and fortified, I did have my biscuits. So, I just didn't do that for D3. I should have planned better lunches for D3.
Oh, well, I would say next time, but thank God there's not a next time.
Yeah, that's true. Thank God there's not next time.
A lot of you will feel that way. Like this is, this is no joke of an exam. And I mean, we know a lot of you are sitting right now, or maybe you already sat one of the exams. Hope it went well. Do what you need to do to decompress. Again, beware the comparing. And if you have an exam coming up tomorrow, or later this week, best of luck. Again, our DMs are open for any last minute advice, or if you just want to vent, or if you're freaking out. We did freak out. It's what music did you play?
I didn't play any music. I went and drank beer after the test.
Oh, I did too. I had a big fat beer. Yes.
Beer.
I did. I had a playlist too, and I'm totally spacing. This is going to date me. I had Aretha Franklin and Annie Lennox. Sisters are doing it for themselves. And for some reason, that is just my empowering. And so I just had that on replay. I don't know if that would work for you. But yeah, just something that kind of psychs you up. I didn't listen. When I'm studying, I listen to kind of mood music that kind of calms me down. But on the drive to the exam, I wanted to I think I put the Rocky song on too. I know I'm such a cliche. But, what are you going to do? Yeah. But yeah, please, I mean, just anything we can do, we're here for you, and just wishing you all the luck in the world. You've got this. And we're pulling for you.
Yeah. Take care.
Okay. Best of luck, everybody.